Hello everyone, welcome to the Evil Empire. I'm your host, Evil Empire, and this week's feature is Ugin's Robots. So before we dive into the deck, I wanted to stop by my profile, take a moment to just appreciate the incredible run that I've been on with the Ugin's Robots deck. This deck has taken me as high as number 1110 Mythic on the constructed ladder. Obviously, limited rank is suffering a little bit because of the focus on constructed, but yeah, it's been quite a ride. I've currently got the streak up to 9-0 in ranked. I've only played a couple of games today, and I've just been kind of monitoring my rank to see how it will ebb and flow depending on how time goes by. I know you've heard from a lot of people that their rank will steadily decline as they sit at a certain point on the top 1500 ranking system. And actually, one thing that I've noticed, I guess perhaps in part because I've been on such a tear lately against some very high level opponents, but I've noticed that my rank has also been climbing here and there a little bit. Like the last match that I finished, I was 1111, and then I came back to my profile, I was down at like 1115. Now I've bumped back up to, so it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit, mostly going down, but sometimes also going up, which has been kind of a cool experience to see how it goes when you're in the numbers. This has never happened to me before, as you know, if you follow the feature. I started out kind of mucking around in gold only 6 months ago, so it feels really good to get to this point in the ladder. Obviously, I'm not even sniffing the very, very top part of this sort of segment, but it just feels really incredible to be on the same list as people like Crokies and a number of other folks who are very high up at the top, like Chris Kavartek, many others that I noticed when I checked the... you can actually go and check the Mythic leaderboard at mtga.pro, the tracking app that I use has you don't even really, I don't think, need to be signed up for the app or anything, but you can just go check their leaderboard anytime. And it isn't quite perfect because not everybody's using their tracking app, but it does also get some amount of data from the opponent, who, like, what the opponent's name is. But anyway, so that's one way to check the Mythic leaderboard, and I've been kind of taking a look at the other names and being kind of a little bit awestruck at the folks who are among that group. And I've been gunning to get into top 1200 so that I can play in the Strixhaven qualifier weekend, which will be April 10th and 11th. And certainly if I do end up qualifying for that, then I'll be posting the matches to my channel, the following week. Sometime before Strixhaven comes out, those matches will get posted. Strixhaven, of course, coming up on the 15th, so preview season is underway for that. We've seen a new Kasmina Planeswalker that's a Mythic that looks really sweet, a Simic Planeswalker on 3 mana, and they've also previewed the Command cycle, as well as a Liliana Planeswalker, Professor Onyx, a 6 mana Liliana. So, the last 6 mana Liliana was really powerful. Did see a lot of standard play. I don't know that it sees all that much historic play, though. And it maybe just there are sort of better Liliana options. I guess the 4 mana one gets a little more consideration than the 6 mana one in historic, but neither are very highly played. Anyway, so that's kind of the cards that have been previewed from Strixhaven really quickly. And now, having checked in with the sort of goings-on, let's take a look at Ugin's Robots. Alright, so here we are with Ugin's Robots, and this is a deck that I started building because I just kind of was sick and tired of the mucking around I had done with things like 4-color Incarnation and just some of the nonsense that I had played on first getting to Mythic. So it's like, okay, it's time to finally get serious. What do I think can really attack this meta? And one deck that I had actually been rolled over by and just stomped by was this mono black splash that had gone into what is already an existing colorless deck. I think I played it for episode 7 of this series. So you go back, and I believe I called it Colorless Ramp. And if you can stand all the frame dropping that I was doing when I was recording on a Mac Mini, then you can go back and watch that. but I don't highly recommend it. Anyway, so this was a retread in a way. So this is, the first time I've ever recycled a deck on the feature. It's something that's going to happen. The historic format is not that big, and there's not a ton of new decks that come in very, very regularly. I would say you probably get like one port from standard each season is a pretty regular thing, and then if there are any additional card pools that are added, you get some stuff that happens to some extent or other then. Like, not much happened with Historic Anthology 4, for example, because it was a terrible expansion, but the other ones, Kaladesh, for example, or Amonkhet made a bigger splash. So I will be retreading decks on occasion, but let's just take a moment to appreciate what's going on with this particular one. Some of the choices that I made were heavily influenced by a list that was tweeted by @Marta who I believe is a Portuguese video game streamer and also just variety streamer. So you should definitely check her out on Twitch. She's @Branca93 on Twitch, and I'll also have a link below. So if you just scroll into the description of this video, you can go find her on Twitch, and she streams Magic and Gwent, and even does some really cool variety streams like cooking, and so you should definitely check her out. Follow her on Twitter, follow her on Twitch, and this deck was influenced because she tweeted hers like the day after I started building mine, and so she had hit Mythic with it, tweeted it, and I was able to compare. And you know what? The great thing about making comparisons is you start to find things that you were doing that are a little bit off base that you need to go back. Like, one thing that I learned from her list right away, Ether Hub is such a free splash in this deck. You're only really going to need the black to cast, a few small things. So Ether Hub was one that I was totally missing. And then always just kind of other things that you can tune in the mana. I really was helped out a lot by her list. And the balance of 3 Extinction Event, 2 Shadows Verdict. I was previously running 4 Event, 2 Verdict, so she also kind of guided me to trim that a little bit. One difference, though, was that I'm very interested in having Karn the Great Creator as a best of 1 player. I think having access to this Karn board is a really huge deal, and getting some silver bullets from there on occasion is a big help. Something that you really don't normally have access to is your sideboard. So Karn allows us to go and get some cool stuff from there. And then obviously, if you follow the feature, you know that this is probably like the 4th Karn deck that I've played in the series. So I'm a big fan of the Great Creator, multi-format all-star Karn the Great Creator. Was he restricted in Vintage? I mean, this is a powerful passive ability. So anyway. This is the sort of the monument deck as was, and now has splashed black removal for the big sweepers, and I myself favor a one of Bloodchief's Thirst, but people choose different things. I know I saw the list that I'll also be helpful for comparison that was in the deck dump on magic.dg. I'll put that on the screen now briefly so you can see. It was a little bit different from my list in that it's only running Extinction Event, and there's no Shadow's Verdict. I really have to argue strongly for Shadow's Verdict. I feel like it's so well positioned in the meta, with Coco decks being everywhere. There are so many important creatures like Lurrus that are 3 mana, and Lurrus's ability to play out of the graveyard. You usually are getting creatures out of the graveyard with Lurrus, so it's a huge deal to be able to sweep not only the board but their graveyard. And the cool thing about Shadow's Verdict as well, just while we're talking about it, it also gets not just the graveyard, it gets planeswalkers as well. So that new Kasmina, that 3 mana Kasmina, that dies to this. So something to think about if that card does catch on in Historic. Otherwise, Karn is great against the Jund decks. He shuts off their Cat Oven. They really dislike that. And it's just been a blast playing it. I'm currently sitting very high on the ladder. Didn't really think I could do it, but there I am. And that is Ugin's Robots. So now we'll go on to the gameplay, and you'll get a chance to see me break into the numbers firsthand. Yeah, this hand is fine. Yeah, we've got ramp into monument. We've got ramp into, whatever. Seems fine. So opponent leads on swamp, we lead on Aether Hub. End of our turn, they're gonna... Yeah, okay, so rogues. Thieves Guild attacking. Island is the mana play. I put down Zhalfirin Void. Okay, no, we need land. Land, please. Only land. Cold Steel Heart on black. Getting that scry from the Zhalfirin Void is nice. Oh dear, okay. Soaring Thought Thief, EOT from them. Flash it in. Mill us for a bunch. Somehow don't turn on Thieves Guild. They've milled Ulamog and a bunch of lands. Alright, use this to take out the Thought Thief. Really wish I would have drawn a land there. Feels bad, man. They are not going to counter? Okay. Probably wise not to. Maze Mind. Not going to counter that either. Keeping their powder dry. Wind Robber is the play. Mill 2. Attack with the big one. Gets embiggened. Take the 3. Scry with the tome. Put a counter on it. Swamp, thank goodness. Okay. Hedron Archive. For 4 mana. You cannot counter because your blue mana is tapped. Thanks, Merfolk Wind Robber. Alright, take 4. Down to 10. Scry with the tome. Draw with the tome. Yeah, right, of course. Because Archive taps for 2 because it's amazing. Archive is the secret all-star of this deck. I think I said that the first time around. This was back when I was running 2 swamps in the deck. First Shadow's Verdict, almost certain to get countered, right? But I think that's the play here. And then just draw off the tome. Denial. Yeah, don't have the 4. Just have the 2, so. Does not resolve, and they continue to not draw lands or play lands, which is a gigantic problem. Does not matter how many little critters they put down. Okay, so I drew Ether Hub and then also drew Ether Hub. Ugin's pretty good. I like Ugin. I like Ugin a lot. This Ugin is like super underrated, by the way. Ugin the Ineffable. So good in this deck. Like the discount is super huge. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah, I think what we're gonna play here is the Monument. Get that to resolve, and everything's downhill from there. Okay, so this is exactly the wrong way to tap. That's why auto tap is the devil, and you never trust it. This is a huge mistake, right? Now, our opponent's not drawing land, so it's not really going to matter, but what you really wanted to do there was tap the Swamp and the Cold Steel Heart while you're playing the Monument, maximize. It's just like with Nissa. You just tap your non-swamps to play here, and then maximize your swamps. All right, or sorry, forests rather in that case. All right, so take 4 again, down to 6. Now we're gaining life for all these colorless spells, so let's discount them. Again, this is exactly the wrong way to tap, but we have kind of what we have at this point, so it's a little bit less impactful. Drown in the Loch, they were holding that. They didn't play it on the Monument? Really? I guess that was just a decision that they made. Okay. Now, question, can we do the Verdict? Or do we have to, can we also do, yeah, I think we're able to do this too, right? Because, yeah, it's fine. This will tap for a 3 anyway, so we'll actually even have 1 left over. Leave the Deadlands open. They'll sack Merfolk Wind Robber. It will be exiled from the graveyard, so they can't do that little trick with Loris, where they draw a whole bunch. Alright, well that's something of a problem, but not a very big problem. And we have all the mana, and we have the Karn, and they do not have counter. They cannot have counter here. So I think what I want to fetch is Boat.
I will defend my allies. Stand down.
Oh, let's do this trick. Okay. So yeah, we have exactly enough mana here. We'll tap the Cold Steel Heart to use the mana. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is fine. So, yeah. Now give them this, which they cannot even activate because they only have 1 power on board anyway. Go get the big Ugin. Since they countered the little Ugin, they're going to hate the big Ugin. Boom. What do you think, rogues? Yeah. For all you rogues haters out there, this one's for you. 98%. Nice. So go from 97 to 98. Feels good. Sweet lands opponent. Yeah, this seems fine. 3 lands, bunch of rocks. One of these rocks will cast the event. That's why we love Cold Steel Heart, but again, it's a question, right? There's a tension in the deck with Cold Steel Heart because it doesn't produce colorless mana, so I think it's looking pretty good here, though. It's going to let us event on them. So, yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice. Decks are full of choices. Alright, so speaking of choices, what land to play first? I think just the zone here. Get zone going. Opponent is going to be Junding us. Okay. So Overgrown Tomb tapped, and we're going to Arch of Orazca, play Cold Steel on black. Boom. What do you got, opponent? Feels good to be on the play here, by the way. Butcher, looking really sad on the play. I don't even think it's worth taking it out yet. I think we just let it hit us again, because who cares? I think it's either Sign of Urza or Archive. I'm leaning Archive into Guardian Idol. And we have a bajillion mana, so that's good. What, 7 right now? And then, you know, if we draw land 8. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is going to be a good extinction event. Can we monument and event? I don't think we can. I don't think I can. Because it's just not, I think I'm 1 short on that play. So I'm just gonna Mind Stone instead. Wish that I could, but I can't. Alright, so Mind Stone into event. Choose even, obviously. Because it wrecks them. Goodbye, goodbye. Pretty sweet. Next turn I get to just Forsaken Monument plus on Karn. I'm never going to be minusing on Karn against... Oh, okay. Game. Go to 98 again. Okay, fine. Yeah, this is totally keepable. This game I forgot to turn the audio on, so it's not going to have game audio. Sorry. But it's kind of a thinky game, so it's good that we don't have the distractions, I guess. Alright, so opponent looking sweet on the Mythic Championship 2019 sleeves. Go 2019, pre-pandemic 2019, when we were all so sweet and innocent. Oh, I guess I did get the audio. Maybe it's a different one where I don't get the audio. I'll let you know when that happens. I'm hearing the music now. Aether Hub, get an energy. Boy, that was the world's longest island. Okay. Cold Steel, black. Pass. Opponent plays probably what? Another island? I usually think mono blue. Okay, no. Nope, we got a blue-white control. We got a Gandalf mage here. So, Azcanta, good for them. Archive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So I'm feeling pretty much happy that I can just ramp right past them, and this is gonna be good. Everybody get ready. Alright, so they put that in the graveyard finally. I don't know why they're running Birth of Meletis. This is not standard, people. Oh boy. Yeah, that's pretty much as good as a land here. That's the same. We're gonna end up on 10 here. So, Idol into Archive because, you know, arbitrary amounts of mana. They're not going to counter this. And they can't censor this. So, played around that. And that's, I think that's enough, right? One, two, yeah. Yeah, that's fully 10. Cycle sensor because it's useless. I've always hated sensor, but you know, if you've been gotten by it, then you know it's good, but just such a difficult card. Tranquil Cove, okay, that's interesting. Birth of Meletis, oh, they're gonna even tap out. I'm even gonna get the Ulamog. I'm not gonna get like tased by sensor. I'm even gonna get the creatures. Jeez, this is gonna be good. Alright, let's get a land at least. Big Mogfather. See you later, land. See you later, search for Escanta. And I have a 10/10 indestructible. You may have cast out, but you're not quite there on mana, and you're not going to be there for a couple of turns. So I get to exile like 40 cards at the top of your deck. Where are you going? Wait, come back. Come back. I was just getting started. Come back. 99%. Yeah. Yeah, seems fine. Ramp into Shadow's Verdict. That's fine. Yeah, so this is the game that I lost audio for. Sorry, I jumped the gun there. But yeah, forgot to turn the audio levels back up, so I don't have game audio for this. But it's fine. Like I said, this is a bit of a grindier game, so it's probably better that we don't have audio. It just distract us from the grind. We need to concentrate on the grind, people. I'm too busy grinding for silly things like boom sounds, Planeswalker lines. Although this deck does get a lot of Planeswalker lines, a lot of Ghostfire. If we're having a good game, there's a lot of Ghostfire going on. Plussing Ugin all the time feels so good in this deck. Alright, so I'm going to lead on If Near Deadlands, because it's the sweetest land that produces black mana that we have. They lead on Jasper Sentinel, so Elves. Blast Zone, Guardian Idol. Ramp a little bit, get the ramp on. It's very important in this deck, you have to ramp. Alright, so we're currently looking for the second black source. That's sort of the thing that we need to get really bad. So, let's look for that. We can Mind Stone even. We can like cantrip a little bit because we'll have enough mana even without the Mind Stone. They're going to go to War Master into Shepherd. Shepherd, by the way, at like $200 right now. People be spending their stimulus money on Magic cards. Mind Stone and Maze Mind are the play for me. And I'm going to hopefully scry my way to some black mana to get rid of this board. Because it's looking a little bit scary. I don't like it, opponent. Realm Walker for them, naming Elf. War Master makes a token. They attack for a bunch. I think 5 here. Go to 15. Set the stop on my upkeep, so I'm good there. Get 1 scry. Nope. That's not black mana. Another scry. Yes, this is black mana. Sweet. I will gladly pay 2 life to sweep this all away. Alright, Shadow's Verdict, get wrecked, opponent. Boom. All to exile. Your move. They have land, pass, so Coco is what that says. Scry and upkeep. No, I think we have enough of these. And it's not a grindy matchup that's going to really require that much grind. Monument pass, probably, and just, you know, pray that we don't get wrecked by their Coco hit. Grounds does nothing. Alright, so what's it going to be? We can put 1 counter on Blast Zone here, so I might do that. Alright, let's see what they hit. Don't hit a Lord, don't hit a Lord. Ah, they hit a Lord. And the Elite. Oh, man, come on. That's a pretty good hit for them. You get 5 mana for your 4 mana spell. Realm Walker as well. Oh, jeez, we need Ugin. Ugin, please come save me on my upkeep scry. No, don't hit me so hard. Please stop hitting me so hard. I don't like it. 5, 9, down to 4. Oh, okay. Forgot to put the counter on the Blast Zone. That would have been helpful here. Gain a little bit of life. Please let this be something good. Oh, no, a land. Oh, no, another land. Oh. Oh, goodness. All right. Can't trip the tome. Oh, yes. Okay, sweet. So it's going to be Ugin the Ineffable, and then question is, do we plus or do we destroy? Do we plus or do we destroy? Plussing is tempting, but I think I destroy one of the lords. Gain a little bit here, back up to 12. Oh, that's so badly needed. Badly needed life. Oh god, no, it tapped the Guardian Idol. Oh, now I can't plus. Oh, why? At least it left Blast Zone open so I can not make the same mistake twice. Now, I think the play is Ugin minus the Clan Caller. Yeah. That does part of the job. Now, we need them to not beat us, please. Alright, so they're going to activate Clan Caller. How much do they have? 5, 8, plus another 3. They're literal 1 short. Oh, they're 1 short of lethal here. That feels so bad. Okay, so they're going to just instead, they're just going to deal with my Ugin. Let me stay on like 4 or whatever. And just get rid of me next turn. So I'll get this draw. And then like maybe one more draw. Let's see. I can draw with alright, so let's at least just get rid of this. Get rid of their lords. And also, okay, that also gets Dwennan's Elite. I forgot that was a 2. I thought that was a 3. Alright, so that's their board. Now, Deadlands, right? Yeah. We use Deadlands together with the Cascading Cataracts. Deadlands can get rid of the power of their Realm Walker. So they'll still get the card draw ability, you know, being able to play creatures off their deck, but just need them to brick on lands. Okay, so sack this, or to brick by drawing lands. Okay, what's the draw? Am I done? I'm not. Okay, that was a land, and they also have a land on top of their deck because they're not playing anything off with the Realm Walker. Use Deadlands to get rid of Realm Walker. Yep. Okay, can't sack that one. Have to sack this one. Oh god, it's going to take all my mana. Whatever. I don't have any plays this turn anyway, so just here, have it back. They draw a land, which we know is on top of their deck. They don't get to see the top of their deck anymore because no more Realm Walker. Alright, just play this to gain some life. Play the hub. Can't draw yet because don't have the blessing of the city. Feels bad. Both just top decking back and forth, top decking lands back and forth. Okay, here's Ugin. Finally. A non-dud. Part of the power package in this deck. Swamp, pass. Opponent draws for turn. It is what? Land again. Okay. Big Ugin and Little Ugin are going to join forces here. They are quite a team in this deck. This is like the ideal setup, is just these two. If you have these two on the battlefield at the same time and your opponent does not deal with one or both of them, you will win. Because they're both very powerful. Especially like the way that Ugin's tokens get pumped up by the monument. They are big, big tokens. They're big 4/4 chunky spirits. Colorless spirits. Really weird. I always think they're artifacts. Alright, so that's the win here. And still at 99. Alright. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the totally bomb hand. Yeah, this is good. Turn 3, archive into turn 4, whatever I want. In terms of I can get a Karn to just grab me a you know, something to play. Like maybe Karn for Monument would be good. You're gonna be disappointed, friend. Don't have any of those. None of those creature things in my hand. Inventor's Fair, Mind Stone. Opponent on some kind of Grixis stuff. Grixis control, maybe. The, you know, the Bolas deck from Standard of yesteryear. Brazen Borrower. Oh, why you have to mess with my mana? Please don't do it. Valky punches me in the face. I play Blast Zone. I play Mind Stone again. A little bit annoyed about it. It hangs up for some reason. I have a Cling to Dust or something. Opt, maybe. Opt is like a kind of a long shot there, but you never know. Alright, so swing in again with the Valky. Hit. I go to 16. Radiant Fountain, 5 mana. Probably gonna be Archive, but maybe let's test him out first with, yeah. Let's test him out first with a Karn. What do you got? You got a counter? You got a counter spell for me? My big scary Karn. Ooh. Don't want it to resolve. What am I gonna get? I could get anything. Get anything. Could get any single thing with it. It says you can go outside the game. That's like cheating. Okay, so ionize it. Sure. 3 mana counters are bad. Alright, hit me for 2. Down to 14. Oh boy, that is what you call a draw. That is what you call in the industry a draw. Don't quite have enough to play the Archive and this. So let's see what they do. How would they react to another Karn? They didn't like the first one. Okay, this
I
one
battle for the forces of good. Stand down!
And I'll grab a Spyglass just to see what's going on in their hand. A little hand check. That's always good against control, just like see what's in their hand. Okay, so we're going to name the Ashiok. Not the little Ashiok. Make sure it's the big Ashiok. That would be a problem. That would be what we call in the industry a problem. So now if they draw land, Ashiok's pretty dead. He's pretty much a brick. Cardboard. He's a blank piece of cardboard. That's what you want. You want to turn your opponent's cards into blank pieces of cardboard. Currently they're holding 1 Valky that they're hoping maybe to get to 7 mana for. And 3 blank pieces. No, now 2 non-blank pieces of cardboard and 3 blank pieces of cardboard. So, Karn down.
I will return.
I'm sure you will, buddy. Got 1 more of you in the deck. Monument, please? Just don't be a counterspell. Whatever it is that you drew, don't be a counterspell. Please? Don't tase me? Sweet. Alright, yeah, fine. I'll take another 5. I don't care. I'm either going to... I think I have enough to both Shadow's Verdict and Ugin. Let me count. Well, I'll need another black, right? That's, I guess, a problem. So 2 unknown cards in hand for the opponent. They do have the land that they need for Ashiok, but not gonna pay life for it because that would be pointless. Down to 7 for me. This is the turn I get to start gaining some life, though. Okay, so just randomly gain 1 on upkeep because reasons. Radiant Fountain, 2 more. Just like I just gain a lot of life right now. Monument. See if they have a counter for this. It's hanging up, so they have something instant speed. I don't know what, though. Boogski. Ugin. Invite him to the party. He always goes down smooth. We're gonna -3 on this. Actually, wait, you know what? I think the better play... Let's just plus. Let's just go for the ult.
To the essence of the multiverse.
So get plussing on their borrower. Obviously, we're going to take it, take it right back to the Valky, but, rather than just, like, starting it from 7, let's just try plussing and see what happens. I'm not sure there's a huge difference between these plays, but whatever. Try it. Let the opponent think they're doing something, This lets them feel like they're playing too.
I am resilient.
And high loyalty. Very high loyalty. Alright, so plus to get rid of this. Pretty much equivalent plays, but...
Consider this a warning.
Get back my archive, draw some more cardies, gain some more lifey. Now, they are 1 mana away from Valky, so, they could be right back in this. Let's see. Depends, I think, with what they should pick with... Oh, nice, nice. Get these two together again. They love being together, these two. I think...
Do not defy the designs of an...
there's really interesting...
Secrets manifest before you.
Alright, just shut up already. There's a really interesting question here of what should they get? What should they get with Valky? Okay, so Heartless Act was the card. Give me a Bloodchief's Thirst, sure. The really interesting question here is what should they get with Valky? What should they get? Now, it only targets, what, a creature or artifact? Let's see when they trigger it. So, in other words, the Planeswalkers aren't in play here. They are not able to target them, but it's an interesting question which of my 3 artifacts they should get rid of. They really want to be able to use Ashiok, but I'm not sure that's the best play here. I tend to lean toward the Monument because it's the highest mana value, even though it's not going to be useful to them when they play it. So we'll just leave it in exile, Yeah, it's only artifact or creature. So, yeah, the Planeswalkers aren't even an option, but I tend to favor the Monument there. I don't think that Spyglass is the play, although, it's going to work for them for a little while.
Ether itself serves me.
Alright, so plus the draw with the Mind Stone, plus the Ugin. Get rid of the Valky, or whatever, Tibalt, sorry.
I will destroy if I must.
Yeah, he must. I tell him, and he must. I'm gonna Crawling Barrens, and I'll just try the old pump the bunch of mana into Crawling Barrens to beat him down plan. And that'll be the plan. What are they gonna use the Spyglass to, are they gonna name him the Big Ugin? Try to prevent it from ulting? Is that the play here from them? I guess they didn't get rid of the Monument because they know I have another one in hand. I forgot they had that knowledge. Alright, so Spyglass names Big Ugin. Put a couple of counters. Okay, so they're playing around. That's the thing about opponents at this level, right? Like, they play with the knowledge that Crawling Barrens exists. Let's tempt them a little bit here. Perhaps you would like... Because I can still do this, right? Wait, why? Oh, because it has Summoning Sickness now. Oh, would you look at that? I thought I could act... Oh, I was trying to be too cute. Alright, let's see if I get max punished for this. Man, that's annoying. Alright, I really needed to get rid of that Spyglass. Alright, so this turn, I think I'm just going to max mana into the Barrens and just test them out and see if they have the removal for it. And, like, whatever. We have an Ugin that can ult when we want it later. They don't have any choice but to deal with this because it's about to hit them for 16. Put them at 2. And, yeah, oh, Crawling Barrens doesn't have Vigilance, so... well, it would be nice if it did, but... Okay, so Drown the Lock gets rid of the Barrens. They take 4 down to 14, and... Alright, I'm out of luck on this Blast Zone again, but... Next turn.
Of the multiverse obeys me.
Next turn, I swear I'm gonna get it. Get that Sorcerer's Spyglass and just ult this Ugin for style points as I cruise my way to the numbers of Mythic. This deck has felt so OP. I have no idea why. I think I've just had a good run of the cards, but you know, sometimes deck choice plays a role in that. And if you choose wisely and build with the meta in mind, like knowing that Shadow's Verdict and Extinction Event are really powerful cards, powerful sweepers. They're not Damnation, but they exile, so in some ways that's better. The opponent's going to give us the old Salt Rope here. Like, is it really a decision that's that difficult? Just like play your Ashiok and bounce one of my things. Probably the Ugin, right? Like, which of the Ugins, right? Obviously. But if I were them, I would Ashiok, bounce, big Ugin. Make me reset it. Obviously, the Ashiok minus ability is pretty terrible here, because I have so many other cards in my hand that I could exile, like Shadow's Verdict, Forsaken Monument, any of the lands, obviously. I'm probably going to try to hold on to Bloodchief's Thirst. I feel like that's pretty good against them, just being able to, like, remove one of their big, honky Planeswalker threats. Even if it's at sorcery speed, it's fine. So, here we are, waiting on them. Last time out. Oh, okay. Salt roping is such a common occurrence. They should really do something about it, but, I mean, really, what can you do? People are going to be salty. I guess especially at this level, like, it feels pretty bad when you lose at high Mythic. Feels really good when you win, feels really bad when you lose. I don't know, it's the power of, like, putting that number next to your name. It's really gives you that strong attachment. Which I guess is why they do it, right? They know the psychology of this very well. So don't think that they don't. Oh, sweet.
Mortality suits me well.
Nikki B joins the party. What's up, Nikki B? Who are you gonna get? Which of your brothers are you gonna take down? All right, the little one. Sure, that makes sense. It's making all the tokens that are
Your existence is pointless. I concede.
You don't see Ugin concede very much. All right, second Baron's pretty sweet. We're gonna play that over this swamp here. Yeah, that's right. I can obviously just kill this, put this over here. They're gonna languish these away at some point, but who cares?
My revenge will be painful.
All right, finally gonna get around to this, which feels like forever ago that I should have done that particular play. So get to ult the Ugin next turn is the point of putting that counter on Blast Zone. Blast Zone is such a great card. It's like the engineered explosives of the historic format. Alright, so opponent is staring Ugin in the face. Are they gonna reset it like they should? So basically Ashiok bounce, reset the Ugin. That's the play. Stay like in the game, stay alive. Oh. They're gonna let us ult the Ugin? Wow. I love this opponent. Alright. Sweet. Yeah. Charge this up a bit. Gonna be more careful about my declines there. Not be such a punk. Alright. Finally, after so many turn cycles, get rid of this Spyglass. The saga of that one Spyglass. Ugin ultimate. Oh god. Oh, this is so cool. Just everything. All the lands. Just put them all down. I don't care. What did I miss something here? Here. One of these lands. No? That's too many. Okay. All the triggers. Resolve them quickly. This can grab some draw. Not gonna need it. Barons is gonna take care of the job here. Yeah, might as well do it now. They don't have any removal. One more. Boy, oh boy. Stylin', profilin'. Hey, you let it happen. You could have reset this. And into the numbers. 1338. Pretty sweet. What a way to go out. A long, grindy mirror. Or, sorry, not mirror. Matchup. And I'm back. This is Ugin's Robots. And I wanted to take a closer look at the mana base and the sideboard. But just before we do that, though, one main deck consideration that you might want to think about is how many Golos do you want? So do you want 2 Golos? Do you want 1 Golos? I tend to favor 1. You can't really use a second one. It's a pretty dead draw in the late game. But that list that we saw earlier from the deck dump on magic.gg did have 2 of those. So something to think about. Some decks even had 2 Ulamog. And another choice to make here, the split. Are you going to run any Cold Steel Heart? You don't have to. You have so many black sources in the deck. I don't think you really need it, but it's something to think about. I've been testing it out, and I like it okay. I don't know. Maybe you're just good. Maybe you're better if you just do all Guardian Idol here. But those are sort of the main deck considerations. Then looking at the mana and the wish board is primarily what I want to talk about in the wrap-up. So with the mana base, If Near Deadlands is such an all-star. It has won me games single-handedly against elves. I used it to put 2 -1/-1 counters on a Realm Walker. They only had the Realm Walker and 1 token left, a 1/1, and I was able to pretty much negate their whole board with this 1 land. So really powerful, probably second only to Ramanop Ruins, the red one in the cycle, which I think is probably the most powerful in mono red, because just getting those last 2 points of damage, like if you don't have shock and you just keep top decking mountain, well, like, you know, that mountain wins you the game with Ramanop Ruins. Well, If Near Deadlands is probably second only to that in the cycle. Like I said, Ether Hub was one that I got from Bronca's list, and that was a huge help. Blast Zone is indispensable. If you're not running Blast Zone in this deck, you're missing out on some serious percentage points. I even at one point had, in the Karn board, I had the Crucible of Worlds to try to get the Blast Zone back, but I find that pretty much one of these is all you'll need to get rid of, like an Immortal Sun or maybe a troublesome Planeswalker like a Nissa. It can be tough, though, because Nissa's on the same mana value as Forsaken Monument, so you might end up knocking out your own Forsaken Monument. Maybe you want to hold a backup one. It's one reason why you don't always want to discard one that you might have in hand, because Monument is such the engine of the deck. You might just want to hold on to it instead of discarding it. You know, maybe like discarding something else that you might not be using, like one of the sweepers against control or something, would be a better choice. Anyway, these I think are really nice little utility one-ofs, but they're certainly all negotiable. Arch of Orazca is kind of an awkward amount of mana. You really want it to be even so you can use the doubles that you get. But, you know, Hedron Archive does produce 3, so it's totally doable. Buried Ruin is great. You know, like you sack your Archive and you draw 2 off the Hedron Archive, and then you just bring it back with Buried Ruin. That's a great move. Cataracts is interesting. Do you want this or do you want the World Tree? I tend to favor Cataracts because it comes in untapped and it's indestructible, so Field of Ruin's not getting it. They're going to have to Ulamog, basically, is the only way they can get rid of the Cataracts from me. And so those 2 considerations, I think, put this ahead of the World Tree for me, but definitely it's interesting to think about that. Inventor's Fair is great. It can go get some card draw with Maze Mind Tome. It can go get any artifact in your deck, so a Golos, a Forsaken Monument. Then Scavenger Grounds, I haven't had to use it much, but when I have had to use it, it's been super key. Like I remember against one opponent, this was before I started recording videos, and I think I was still in the percentages in Mythic, but Scavenger Grounds was able to exile my own graveyard. It was really important to exile my own graveyard because my opponent had played a couple of, I think this spell's really underrated, by the way, the Eldest Reborn. Like kind of a deep cut from Dominaria, but a really good standard card, and one that I think can definitely cut some mustard in Historic. But anyway, somebody played a couple of those on me, and I had to like repeatedly exile my own graveyard. First with Scavenger Grounds, I then used Karn the Great Creator to go get a Tormod's Crypt and use that to exile my own graveyard a second time for the second Eldest Reborn, where they also hit something really good that they were going to be able to get back on their own board with the third chapter of that saga. So anyway, those one-ofs are the sort of the little utility here and theirs, and then these are sort of the workhorses, the 4-ofs and the 2-ofs. Crawling Barons, you got to have 2 of them because the opponent's going to have removal for at least 1 Crawling Barons. Radiant Fountain gains you life. Spire of Industry, you can do 2 or 4. I don't like paying life for black mana, but I do have 6 of those possible lands. And that's sort of the mana base. Then looking at the Karn board, these can be, these things are so finicky. But I kind of love that about them. That's one of the reasons I really like Karn, is like the Karn board is just such a puzzle, right? I don't know that a Chroma's Memorial is really worth it, but it is a big sort of flashy, you're not going to be able to target my stuff anymore with your Fatal Push or your Bloodchief's Thirst or your Shock or any of your Burn. So that's kind of a cool thing to have in the back pocket, although I don't know if it would make the cut if I were trying to like leverage some sideboard slots to make this into a best of 3 deck. I don't know if that one would survive. Meteor Golem, I think, is pretty much a have to, because you want to just be able to get rid of one troublesome thing that the opponent might have. Platinum Angel, again, a lot of decks pack removal, so I don't know how good this is in the metagame. But, you know, it does die to pretty much any creature removal spell, right? So another one that might not make the cut is Platinum Angel, although it is really fun when the opponent doesn't have removal. Like if you're against an Elves deck that doesn't run any removal or doesn't run Rex Sage, which I actually have. I had one opponent destroy the Platinum Angel by using Finale of Devastation, which you don't see in a lot of the Elves lists, but maybe you should, because it's a really fun card. Anyway, Finale of Devastation to go get Rex Sage to get rid of the Platinum Angel. So that's another one that I think is kind of too much of a meme. And another thing that I considered for the deck, but ultimately I don't think it really belongs in the wishboard here, is Helm of the Host, because you can really meme on some people if you can, like, for example, get the Helm on Meteor Golem. So you're just, you know, every combat you're getting to destroy another one of their permanents. Or, you know, put the... it's kind of silly, right? But, like, put the Helm on Platinum Angel. Put the Helm on Golos, because, you know, why not? They're not legendary, so who cares? But anyway, those are some of the silly meme things that I don't actually think are good here. I've never yet gotten the Monument. I seem to draw it enough, so I don't know if that's one that you really need to have. Another one that's sort of questionable, but it is nice to be able to fetch it. And I know I've done that in the previous iteration of it when I had it for episode 7 during that week of playing the deck. Before it became a mono black deck, I know that was a useful tool. Mostly what I find that I get is either the Cage or the Boat. Those are the two. And sometimes it's like, should I go for Platinum Angel and try to just like bank on the fact they don't have removal, which a lot of decks in Historic don't. I mean, Aura's, the blue-white one doesn't really have removal. Has, you know, what do you call it? The Heliod's Punishment, which is just as good. But anyway. Or do I grab the Boat to be able to sort of pick off their small creatures, finish off their planeswalkers? And I usually just grab the Boat because it's so good at both beating them down, because, you know, it gets to be what? When the Monument's down, it gets to be like an 8 power attacker. So that, you know, that's pretty good. And then in addition to that 8 power, 7 toughness attacker when the Monument's out, because, you know, Monument buffs them by 2 too. It also gets to deal 3 damage to a creature planeswalker in addition to its attack. So this is a really solid get at only 5 mana. It has an immediate impact on the board in that it deals 3 damage to any target, not to any target, to any creature or planeswalker the opponent controls when it comes in. So you can come in and take care of like a Mayhem Devil. Come in and take care of something that's a problem, that's a little smaller. So those are kind of the ways that this has worked. Again, there are some things here that are questionable. I don't know if Cosmos Elixir is good, but I have it in here for the control matchup. The other control card that's in here is God Pharaoh Statue. Man, do they hate having to pay 2 extra for everything they play. And that's kind of the nitty-gritty of the deck. The one last thing that I will say that is my personal favorite thing to do with Karn out of this Wishboard is the Wishclaw Talisman. I think you saw it in the deck, in the match against Rogues, the very first one, that I was able to Wishclaw and then give it to them, and they can't even get rid of Karn because they have to be so busy either, you know, holding up counterspell so they can't use removal on their turn, or what have you. It just really overpowered them, and obviously they're very constricted on mana in that game, so that was kind of a given. But it does put the opponent in an awkward position. They have to remove the Karn to be able to use the Wish Claw. So if we can do something silly, like, go fetch up the Ugin in our deck, well, Ugin will get rid of the Wish Claw even if I want to. If I want to just -2 on the Ugin. So yeah, pretty fun deck, very toolboxy, has answers to a lot of threats. When I play decks like Rakdos Arcanist, it just sort of feels like they're not even really able to touch me. Like, yeah, great, you want to Thoughtseize my hand? Okay, do it again, sure, that's fine. I'll just draw what I need. And then that's just kind of been a good feeling against a lot of the small creature decks. So this is a little bit of a longer wrap-up just because I wanted to go into more detail about a fun deck that had gotten me as high as I've ever gotten on the Mythic ladder. So tune in to my Twitter account. Follow me through the end of the season to see how I fare, if I'm able to qualify for the Strixhaven qualifier weekend. Qualifying for the qualifier. Let's see if we can do it. And this has been Ugin's Robots. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you again next week. This is Evil Empire signing off.